Welcome back, everyone. Well, today could be the first day of cross-examination for former Illinois Speaker of the House Mike Madigan. His trial resumes today after his surprise testimony, at least to some, last week. Madigan faces federal racketeering and bribery charges. His lawyers will be in court later this morning for a hearing to decide what the feds will be allowed to ask Madigan during cross-examination. The jury is expected to be in court this afternoon. And here now live is the guy who wrote the literal book on Madigan. In fact, I have one with me today, so I'm going to show it. Chicago Tribune's Ray Long. Thanks so much for being with me once again.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
So what, there was a couple-day pause after his last, Mr. Madigan's appearance on the stand. What do you expect prosecutors, what will be the tone of their questioning?
Well, they'll dig in, Dana. I believe that they have to counter this kind of soft approach that Madigan put up last week, and he obviously was very rosy in his description of his life and how he did things and how he was very easygoing, and he was relaxed and he was good, and as you and I talked earlier, he was unflappable on the stand.
He's been flappable really his whole career.
Absolutely.
Truly. I know there's a hearing later this morning to, I guess, if nothing else, determine parameters. Will prosecutors be able to ask him, I'm asking for my own self too, about specifics that maybe weren't brought up during his direct testimony?
Absolutely. In fact, there was already a ruling by the judge that one damaging tape where he was saying that some of these guys were making out like bandits. Some of the people who were put on payrolls of ComEd were making out like bandits, and that's a different approach, different kind of tone that he had set before. There'll be an argument again. I'm sure they'll try to fight that over again, but they were going to try to push for a lot of different elements that were not brought up by Madigan, and the prosecution said that they needed to do that because he portrayed himself so much differently than they believe reality is.
So kind of the whole point, I would imagine, of taking the stand in the first place, which something is what something you and your colleagues wrote about, that he, his reasons for taking the stand became clear. So what do you specifically think those reasons were? Well,
I think he wanted to show that he's a regular guy type of thing, which is not the impression you might get from him, especially from the tapes that the jury had heard for so long. And he wanted to show that he had been a guy who had worked up over the years through, kind of the pull himself up through the bootstraps approach. And I believe that the prosecution wants to show that his harder edge, the more aggressive, forceful power politician that he really is.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Is there any one thing last week that Madigan said on the stand that, in your mind, prosecutors could quickly use against him?
Well, I think he was talking about how he just inherited a set of rules from the Republicans to run the House. But the reality is that he really pushed those rules to the extreme. And that is one thing that I believe that the prosecutors will try to show, that he was really pushing the limits all the time. And it's the kind of thing that Republicans complained about all the time. It's natural that Democrats are going to complain about Republican rules and Republicans are going to do vice versa.
Yes, all the bickering.
Yes, but of course there is just this constant drumbeat from the Republicans that it was over, how far he pushed it.
Yeah, it could be and should be a very interesting day in court. Once again, Chicago Tribune's Ray Long, thank you as always for joining us this morning.
Great to be here.
We hope to talk to you again maybe later this week, next week, sometime soon.